So all the men from my previous post saying that they have found peace by being alone and they're not trying to date because they just want peace. Are you trying to say that we don't bring peace to your life?
Men are probably telling you that because of how you are. There's nothing about you that is giving peace.
I have to disagree. I do not think that if a woman that you so desired was available to you, you would choose peace over commitment, sex, good meals with conversation,
Oh, good meals with conversation.
things like that. So, I'm going to call your bluff because I don't think that's true. Again, calling your bluff.
It's not a bluff. And unfortunately, it seems like it's very hard for you to understand that all of those things that you say you're offering, which are warm meal, conversation, commitment, whatever all these other good things you're mentioning, they do not have to be separate from having peace. Nobody wants to live mortified and dealing with nagging, dealing with bossy women. So why does she say that it has to be either one or the other? Why can't you just have it all? It's not asking for much. Having peace should be the bare basic core of any relationship. If you don't have peace, then what do you have? Conflict, strife, drama, fights. I mean, peace is the whole point of our relationship. Is to be at peace with somebody and have a good time. And when you face challenges, if you have peace in between you and the other person, things are going to be much easier to manage. Nothing about her attitude says peace. She's totally confused about what men prioritize. And men will fool around with a girl that's not going to bring them peace. If she's hot, they'll mess with you. They'll spend time with you. They'll have fun with you. They'll hook up with you. But they're not going to stick around for the long run. And if they do, even if they did, it's not going to go well. Because if you don't have peace, think about the things you have instead.
Ladies, what are we doing wrong? We have to be doing something wrong.
Well, the last lady I just showed is doing a lot of things wrong, apparently. This lady is going to give a good perspective, so let's see what she has to say.
Something is not right. Because I have men in my inbox, on my messages, on everywhere, telling me that they do not want to be in a relationship because they choose peace. They chose being alone and being peaceful than being in a relationship with a woman because all we do is cause drama and we nag and all these things, all the reasons. Or a lot of them had been burned before. So, like, we know that whole story.
So she's right and she's wrong. Certainly, not all women are like that. That's certainly true. And in regards to this man that she's speaking of, there's two different camps. Okay, there are men who they want peace and they will not have a long-term commitment with a woman who is not going to bring them peace. And then you do have another group of men who are disgruntled and they put all women on the same bucket and they're like, yeah, women, all they do is nag and complain and demand, and I don't want anything to do with any of them, and I'm just going to be on my own. And I might hook up here and there with random girls, but I am not going to be in any sort of committed relationship. If anything, some of them just completely just eliminate women out of their lives, which is also wrong. Capitulating to this notion that all women are going to be terrible human beings, it's something that once you subscribe to that, you're just pretty much doomed for disaster. The point of being aware of certain issues and understanding certain general concepts, okay, there's always room for generalization, but what you should use that as is as a way to help you calibrate and know what to pinpoint and how to look for the right people and how to evaluate the person's traits and their behaviors and their actions and their way of thinking to know that you are going to be with somebody who's going to be compatible with you. If you use that to just capitulate and say, well, I'm throwing it all away, I don't want anything to do, take me out, I don't want to play anymore. I mean, you can certainly choose to do that, but it's not recommendable because as you grow and you develop those talents and skills, you have to actually start applying those things and learn how to use them properly so that then you can have a good relationship and you can be with a woman and have peace. And again, it doesn't mean things are going to be perfect, but you're both going to understand that you're working together, you're not adversarial, and you're going to collaborate with each other in a much more productive and enjoyable way.
Like, been there too. So, that works on both sides. But, like, what exactly? I feel like in a relationship, a woman should be the one to bring peace and bring comfort. And, like, at the end of the day, be that person that a man can come home to and like feel comfortable in himself and know that like he's loved at home. So what is it that we're doing or not doing that they're saying these things?
It's because a lot of women nowadays want to compete with men. They complain about the wage gap. They complain because they want more women in positions of power, but they're not competing with men in things that are not convenient for them. They're not competing with men for the job of picking up trash. They're not competing with men for construction jobs. They're not demanding to be equally represented in those fields. They're competing with men on things that are convenient and easy for them to do. So then how that translates to relationships, women don't want to give men their place. They don't want to let them lead. They don't want the man to be this authority figure in the relationship and in the house. But when they hear a noise in the middle of the night and they think somebody's trying to break in, then they do want the men to be the one to respond. So suddenly we're no longer equals. Now, no, you gotta go do that, and certainly so is the man that should be doing that. But you have to understand that without protection and without risk, that comes with part of being the man in the relationship, also comes the place for authority and the place for leadership and all of these things that you're gonna have to submit to. Now, when it comes to the guys, then you also have to be able to embody those things. If you're not a leader, if you're not strong, if you're not decisive, if you're constantly leaning on the woman to tell you what to do, well, you're going to deauthorize yourself and you're going to wash down the respect and authority that you should be getting by being dependent on her. And then another scenario that happens too is that sometimes men do find women who are nurturing, who are loving and tender and kind. And what they do is that then they, having worked on themselves enough to where they misutilize that nurturing aspect of their wife or girlfriend, and then essentially then they start just like leaning on their women for emotional support. And that's a very quick way to wear a woman down and make her not trust you. So it's a lot of moving pieces. You cannot blame entirely women for this. You cannot blame entirely all of men for that either. But both sides are going to have to do their part. It's a very complex mechanism. And if some of the pieces are not really linking together properly, or they're defective or they haven't been polished or worked on enough, the gears are not going to turn and it's not going to work out.
I don't know. It blows my mind that these men would rather like be alone. And I don't know, maybe it's that they're dating younger, and no offense to any of the females on here that are in like the younger age bracket. I just know personally when I was younger, like in my 20s, even into my early 30s, like before I had kids and stuff, there was always a little bit of drama that happened in relationships and things like that. But now being 42, like I want peace too. I don't want to come home to arguments and nagging and like all of that stuff either. I want peace too. So what's happening? Somebody fill me in because I'm lost. I am like seriously lost.
Okay, so here's my final fatherly advice regarding this type of situation, and is that within the relationship itself, you are both going to have that peace within first, so that whenever you face challenges or things happen, that's what comes out of you. If you are full of trauma, conflict that you have not resolved or that you don't know how to deal with, it's eventually going to come out. Things are going to start to erupt, and you're going to end up with a situation where you're not going to be able to have peace. Now, in regards to the ladies, they tend to be a little bit more emotional, and that comes with something that could be a little bit more chaotic and free flowing of, thoughts and energy and ideas. And sometimes that can cause friction if the man is not strong enough in his frame to navigate through those things. So it's very important to have a strong feminine and masculine dynamic working alongside each other, because they each are going to have strengths and weaknesses, and you have to have the right dynamic so that both of those things can work together in the right way. But that's all I got for today. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, and I will see you on the next one. Remember to subscribe, by the way.